LEGO finally brought back an iconic pirate ship, and it's been given the premium for adults treatment. I'll walk you through the design, the features, and the little details so you can see if it's something that you want to pick up. Alright, here's what we're looking at, a LEGO pirate ship based on the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean. These sails are large, matte black, and look like they're made of fabric, which gives them more of a realistic look, and some have small tears and frayed edges like the ship's seen a few battles. From the back, everything stays consistent without any odd gaps or distracting parts, and there's also enough space to place minifigs up top, whether you're setting up a lookout or a sword fight. There's a pirate flag mounted at the top, and it looks like it's the same fabric as the sails, and I'm glad that they went with a texture like this rather than having a hard plastic piece. It looks awesome. As we take a look at the front, there's a green figurehead statue with a contrasting bird accent, and it's probably one of the most eye-catching parts of the model. The green color pops against the black hull without feeling out of place, and those sculpted wings on the sides give it this eerie kind of look. Right next to that, there's an anchor set up with chains that can be lowered. It's always nice when functional elements like that are included, it gives the model a bit more life. And the hull around it has some nice gentle curves, which is hard to pull off at the scale without looking too blocky, so kudos to the design here. Looking along the sides, there's a lot of subtle detailing going on. The ladder design is pretty minimal, but it follows the curve of the ship nicely. I like this part a lot. The cannon flaps are definitely one of the standout elements. When they're closed, they sit flush against the hull and don't interrupt the flow whatsoever. But once they're opened, you get a full row of cannons tucked behind them, and they're all angled ever so slightly to follow the line of the ship. The back of the ship continues the strong design with a few thoughtful touches. We've got 3 lanterns mounted across the rear balcony area, which line up nicely with how the ship looked in the films. They're spaced out evenly, and the warm tones of the lanterns give it a bit more color without being too distracting. Adding the gray bricks worked in the back section as well, similar to what we saw on the sides, and it looks fantastic above the captain's quarters. Even the rudder has some gray bits built in, which could have easily been glossed over. From what I can see, everything here seems like it belongs, and if you're someone who cares about display angles, the rear view holds up without any awkward areas, and it looks finished from every direction. Moving up to the main deck, there's enough room to move the minifigs around without feeling too tight. You could have someone steering the ship, a few in the deck area, and maybe Jack Sparrow pacing around trying to come up with a plan. It's not the most spacious setup, but there's enough room to tell a few stories. And I did notice a few small details worked in. I see this lantern near the middle, and what looks like a doorway into the captain's quarters. They seem to help break out the layout a bit, even if the rest of the deck is kept rather straightforward. Off to one side, there's a simple rowboat that sits on the deck, and it's nothing elaborate, but it fits the world pretty well. Every pirate ship needs a way out when the plan falls apart, and this little boat fills that role very nicely. The helm area is pretty simple, just a standard ship wheel placed where you would expect it. It gets the job done, but there's not much else going on here. And this is kind of cool. The stand uses brown pieces to give it a wood-like finish and pairs well with the dark colors of the ship. It doesn't draw any attention to itself, but it fits the look and helps the whole model feel complete when it's on display. And it does have a nifty trick that we'll get to in a minute. Now, there isn't a ton going on the inside, but you do get a few areas that you can mess around with. The back of the ship opens up to reveal the captain's quarters, which has some nice little touches. You have a couple of candles, a map, a table, and some barrels with food. It's a small space, but it gives the set a bit more depth and character. And this is pretty cool. You can pull up a small section of the main deck to access a lower section that has a treasure chest tucked away. There's not really anything else down here, but it's still a fun little hidden spot that adds some variety to the build. It would have been cool to see a little bit more in this area, and this is all that I can tell for now, but it'll be interesting to see what we get in the build. Okay, now we do have a few mechanical touches built into the set that will no doubt be satisfying. First off, the ship's wheel is connected to the rudder in the back, so when you turn it, the rudder moves along with it. I mean, that's to be expected, but it's always fun to see that in a LEGO ship, and it'll be interesting to watch how those gears come together during assembly. There's also a dial in the rear section that flips the cannons outward. It's tucked in neatly and gives you that extra bit of movement without needing to pop pieces off. Walking through how that mechanism mechanism works as you build will probably be one of the more interesting parts of the experience. And for display, you've got a few different ways to show it off. The bottom section can be removed entirely if you want to make the ship look like it's floating in water. You can also detach it from the brown display holders if you want to look at the full ship. It's not overly complex, but it does give you some flexibility on how you want to handle this thing. Once you see this thing next to a person, you can see just how massive this ship is. It was hard to tell from the other images, but yeah, this thing is huge. That said, you'll want to clear out a decent amount of room because we're looking at a 2-foot tall and 2-foot long model here. It's definitely going to demand space on your shelf. We have 8 minifigs included. We have Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, Gibbs, Cotton, Anna Maria, Marty, Elizabeth Swan, and Hector Barbosa. It's a well-rounded crew that covers most of the key faces that you would expect. Each minifig comes with its own accessory that you would see on a pirate adventure, so whether you're setting up scenes or lining them up on display, there's enough variety here to make it feel complete. From what I can tell, sticker usage is either minimal or non-existent. The only one that stands out is the map, and it's hard to say if that's printed or not. Either way, you shouldn't be pausing every few steps to line something up, which helps the build flow and keeps the momentum going. The only trip up might be the fabric sails. They could maybe take a little extra care to put on. Getting them in place can be a bit tricky sometimes, but once they're set, they do bring the whole model together, and they do give the set that wow factor. We're looking at just under 3,000 pieces, which is a decently sized set. Depending on how fast you build your LEGO sets, you could easily spend over a week on this thing or knock it out in a weekend. It comes out on September 12th for $380 and that's a lot, so unless you're really into pirate ships, it might be the one to wait on. I am hoping to pick it up and do a full build review, so if you're unsure, stay tuned for that. I'll do my best to break the entire thing down. In the meantime, check out some other LEGO videos here if you're looking for more builds, previews, or set breakdowns. Thanks for hanging out and taking a look at the set with me. Until next time, I'll catch you in the next one.